Hello everyone, and thanks for watching the Other 99 Commander set review for M13. Brianna and I are going to take a look at the awesome reprints in this set, the top 10 most relevant cards to Commander, and the 5 new generals and what their impact will be on the format. So first we have these awesome reprints, starting off with Nicol Bolas Planeswalker. The big, the bad, the awesome. He's really only very playable in EDH. It'd just be cool to see have a reprint of him.
Bring down foils. They're sitting at about 45 right now, so I'm sure Nicol Bolas Planeswalker fans will be happier to be able to get cheaper versions of the card, which is the same case that we have with the next card, which is a Chroma's Memorial. Those who own one will probably be unhappy to see the price drop, but those who are hoping to acquire one, hopefully it will be a little bit easier to get. I'm looking at getting one myself for one of my decks because I've never played with it, and it's a really powerful card.
We have Door to Nothingness, everything that's awesome about a reprint. New art, it's an awesome card. It may not make that big of an impact in EDH, but hey, we love awesome reprints, and this is a really cool Door to Nothingness.
A reprint that doesn't have new art, and I'm okay with it because I love the art on the original, is Gilded Lotus. And it's one of those cards that's really powerful, not too hard to get, but having every new EDH player have an easier time getting a Gilded Lotus. I don't know, start packing more artifact removal.
Next we have Tormod's Crypt. And it's not the most exciting card that's being reprinted, but the artwork that's actually from the F&M promo is pretty cool, and the new border is also very exciting.
The next reprint we have, and like all the reprints, the biggest issue for us is we're glad to see the price go down. But for Reliquary Tower, that's especially true because it's a $4 uncommon, and whatever your opinion of the card is, having a colorless land that anyone can play in their deck being $4 is kind of annoying. So the price drop is true with a lot of these cards, but to me especially with this one, because I think having a non-basic land that a lot of people want access to being $4 is annoying.
Fervor is an awesome reprint, but this is the older artwork for Fervor. I hate the little green men, but the card is good, and it's another older card that a lot of newer players have trouble getting hold of.
The next reprint we mentioned, a lot of people aren't a big fan of, but I think it's underplayed, so I wanted to talk about it, and that's Stormtide Leviathan. He's awesome. He's moat, he has Island Walk. He's so powerful, and we all know there's those situations where you say, well, he dies to Doomblade. That doesn't matter if you don't have something to kill him. If you can't answer this dude, he's probably going to win the game for someone. And then the last reprint is another personal favorite of mine, and that's Serra Avatar. She's an old, powerful beater that doesn't see a lot of play because she's been outclassed in so many ways, but she still one-shots people quite a bit. And also, she's pretty awesome with the new Rox Faithmender. If you're playing some life gain, he's going to make your Serra Avatar get bigger faster.
Alright, now it's time for what we believe to be the top 10 new M13 cards that will be the most relevant to Commander. But first, we have a few honorable mentions, and first off we have Magma Quake. Magma Quake is, pretty typical at first. You look at it, it's just like an earthquake, but you look at the type of spell it is, it's an instant. And it hits Planeswalkers, which is something that no other version of this card's done before. So, it's nothing super exciting, and it's not going to impact EDH that much, but it's something cool and new, and you'll be able to clear Planeswalkers and the tokens they produce all at the same time, so that's pretty cool.
Another honorable mention that we have is Voidstalker. Not that powerful, but I know there's been a recent interest from some people in powering down their decks. So if you're trying to do that, playing Voidstalker in the place of something like Spin a Demyth or Hinder or Spell Crumple, it still does the same thing. It's still going to tuck people's generals and their annoying creatures, but it's not a counterspell. In fact, it's kind of a creepy looking jellyfish.
For the next one we have is Worldfire. Now, I know a lot of people may rage about us putting this as an honorable mention on the top 10, because it is exciting, but Brianna and I both looked at it, and we decided not to put it in the top 10 because we are not sure if this card is going to be able to do what everyone says it's going to be able to do. Yeah, sure, you might be able to set up a certain combo in your deck to where you can win off of this, but even if you do, no one's going to like you after winning off of this card.
It's kind of lame. It's a weird thing where people have this mentality. They don't like losing to combo, but they're even less likely to enjoy losing to a combo if they have no permanents on the board and no cards in hand. It's lame. That's my opinion. It's powerful. It brings your life total to 1, which many cards have not done in the past. But you're not going to be very popular for playing this. Next we have Monvali Beast Tracker. I'm always on the lookout for budget cards. That is so cool to me if I have $20, $30, $50 to work with, maybe even less. And I have to make something that's good and efficient. And so Monvali Beast Tracker, sure, it's not that powerful because it goes on top and you're kind of limited. But then you look at the cards you can get with it, and there are some really good beaters that have Hexproof, Death Touch, Reach, of course Trample. And then if you're playing mono green, it doesn't even become a budget option. It becomes, well, it's mono green, I'll take what I can get to get any sort of tutors.
Final honorable mention is Sublime Archangel. This is a really cool angel, and it's another card that Brian likes a lot.
I love Exalted. Deck Bant was my first deck, and so I have a huge soft spot for the Exalted mechanic. There's a deck out there for her, maybe something along the lines of Rith the Awakener.
Alright, and now for the top 10 most relevant M13 Commander cards. At number 10, we have Switcheroo. I despise the name of this card, but I love what it does. It's like one of my personal favorite cards of all time, Gilded Drake. Gilded Drake, though, is going for $18, whereas this is going to be an uncommon in the new set. Plus, it's another Steely Face card. So for the people who love control magic and all that stuff, here's another card for you to steal people's stuff with.
So it trades the reliability and cheap cost of Gilded Drake for being cheap money-wise, and having the potential to be more powerful in that you can give them a body that's not as good as a 3/3 flyer. At number 9, we have Spelltwine, which I saw it, and of course the first thing I thought of was Rexiel. Now the downside is, of course, that you have to exile it, but at the same time, the sheer potential of how cool this card could be. It's 6 mana, so it's expensive, and you're relying on other people to play good cards, but it's just so cool. I know there are a lot of people who like to steal other people's creatures, play other people's spells, use other people's resources. This is another one of those cards. They will love this card, and I think it's cool too.
At number 8, we have Thundermaw Hellkite. I don't think this is even on a lot of people's radar, honestly, which is kind of interesting because a lot of people see, oh look, another dragon. They always have lame dragons in every core set. There's a lame dragon.
And then they give it to you as a promo, so it's even lamer.
And you're just like, oh, give me something good. This is one of the best dragons that have been printed in several sets because, first off, let's just look at his stats. 5/5 for 5. Flying and haste. That's respectable. But then you read, when he enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to each creature with flying your opponent's control, and you tap them. Can you imagine playing Kalia with all your demons and dragons? You attack, put Thundermaw Hellkite onto the battlefield, you just killed somebody off. He is going to be awesome in the decks that can play him.
At number 7, we have one of my personal favorite cards in the set, and that's Disciple of Bolas. Maybe I'm a little bit more fond of him because I had to cut Grizzlebrand. Moment of silence for Grizzlebrand, who was lame and awesome at the same time, and obviously too broken to stay. But I need a replacement for Grizzlebrand in my Glissa deck, and I wanted something to draw cards, and I saw Disciple of Bolas. And of course it's not as powerful as aforementioned Band Demon, but it gains you life and draws you cards. I kind of envision playing this and like sacrificing your Woodfall Primus, and then he persists back in and you shoot something else and you just drew 6 cards and gained 6 life.
At number 6, we have Staff of Nin. Pretty obvious why we have this card in the top 10. It is a Haunted of Seeing Winds that can be played in any deck. And on top of it, just frosting on top of the cake, you can tap it to pink stuff.
This card is so full of flavor.
Staff of Nin, we have a staff dedicated to one of the Commander Generals from the Commander product, which is really, really cool.
At number 5, we have, at what first glance is kind of an unimpressive card, Archaeomancer. Blue is always looking for ways to get back its sorceries and instants. And it has those. It has Mnemonic Wall. And there is a wizard that does it, but it's blue-red. So you're kind of restricted. So those players who want to abuse Riptide Laboratory and aren't playing red only had Scrivener, and Scrivener only gets back instant spells. So Archaeomancer came in and is going to fill in what I think is a spot in these decks that has been missing. It's something that these blue players have been needing, is a wizard that they can use with Riptide Laboratory that does what Mnemonic Wall does.
At number 4, we have Trading Post. As soon as I saw it, I was super excited about it. It's just so cool. It's not the most powerful thing, it's not the most amazing thing, but it's just cool. The card frickin' cycles through itself. The card is in and of itself an engine. But of course, the last 2 abilities of the card are the most relevant.
There's a lot of combo potential with this. I haven't sat down or I haven't looked up the combos. The only dream I'm going to live is having Glissa and a Grave Pact and sacrificing a creature and getting back 2 artifacts because you made them sacrifice a creature.
I think what's super powerful is getting a 0/1 goat with Trading Post and then switcherooing it.
And then I feel like I also have to bring up, this is really powerful with Rings of Bright Hearth. At number 3, we have a card that immediately caught my eye because it's green, and that's Boundless Realms. Now, it's 7 mana, and it's one of those cards that only ramp decks are going to want to play, and you have to play a certain number of basic lands, but I don't think that number has to be as high as you would originally think. Because even if you're paying 7 mana for, we'll say, 5 or 6 basic lands, that's really good, considering you pay 4 mana for 2 basic lands when you cast Explosive Vegetation. The only downside to this is probably one that's not going to be a downside for most people, and it's that you do overextend with lands, which is bad if you have to worry about LD. Considering most people don't, there's nothing but advantage to this card. But it's beautiful art, I love the name, and it's really powerful.
At number 2, we have Omniscience, and I think Omniscience speaks for itself.
Personally, I see that Omniscience is cool. I mean, I'm looking at the artwork right now, and it's Jace Planeswalking. The flavor text is wonderful. So just the visual appeal of the card and what the card does, it's a hit. This card is really powerful. You're playing Time Stretch for free, even if you're just playing an Eternal Witness for free.
So we'll have to see how truly powerful it does become, but let's just face it, it's just cool.
I know why you're the most excited about it, because you just want to let other people hardcast it and then steal it with blatant thievery.
I do look forward to stealing people's Omniscience.
At number 1, we have what might not be the coolest card in the set, what might not be the most widely played card in the set, but one that we feel is incredibly relevant to this format because there are so many people who enjoy Cabal Coffers. And so at number 1, we have Liliana of the Dark Realms. Like I said, there are so many people that they live to abuse Cabal Coffers Urborg. That is the entire focus of their deck. And so I feel like if I had a mono black deck, I can't think of a good reason not to play Liliana. Her +1 is really good. I'd play her just for that, just because you want to make a land drop every single turn. And then there's her second ability, her -3, so you can either pump your Skithrix or whatever other ridiculous beater general you've decided on, or you can kill someone else's creature. And it's -X. It's not outside of the realm of possibility to, say, hit someone's Ulamog. And of course her -6 ability is ridiculous. It's the thing that mono black players dream about when they build their decks.
The -6 basically gives you an Omniscience, almost. You'll have more mana than you know what to do with at that point. And what's great about Liliana is that she enables another cool card from the new M13 set, Diabolic Revelation. With Liliana out, and with, in the deck that it's going to play Liliana, Cabal Coffers, Diabolic Revelation comes in and just searches up the perfect hand for you.
Because the thing about Diabolic Revelation is you will pay 6 mana for 1 card. And if you pay 8, the only precedent we have for that is playing a flashback Increasing Ambition, which gets you 2 cards for 8 mana. Whereas this will get you 3 for 8 mana. So the more you can pay for it, the better it is.
And so once again, I remind you guys that these are the top 10 most relevant M13 cards. As I said, you guys might think that Worldfire Omniscience are the most exciting or whatever, but Liliana will have the most impact on not only people who play big mana black decks, but the people who play against big mana black decks as well. And that is it. That is our top 10. And now, finally, we're going to go ahead and discuss the new potential generals from M13. So first off, we have Odric, Master Tactician. He's a new soldier alternative to Darien, and he does some cool things. Like, if you look at his stats, he's a 3/4 for 4 with first strike, which means he'll win a lot of combat on his own, and he controls combat. If you're playing the deck that you would presumably play him in. So if you're playing soldier deck with lots of dudes, and you're attacking a lot, Odric is going to get to control the combat, which is every white weenie aggro player's dream.
The card's very visually appealing. He's carrying a sword with Avacyn's symbol on it. If you like your generals to have flavor, he looks like a soldier. He's fighting for good. He's fighting for Avacyn. He's fighting for order.
Like many of the cards in our list today, he's just an all-around perfectly sculpted card.
The new mono blue general, you'll have to forgive me. Talran the Sky Summoner, he's really cool because he's not one of those, oh, herp derp, I'm a zombie lady of scrolls, I'm good, right? He would take some building around. So for the deck builders out there, he offers you a challenge to play something a little out of the ordinary. He's kind of lame because he's not very good, but at the same time, he's kind of cool in that he's a blue legendary creature that you don't see him and just kind of facepalm. Great, this is going to be another really annoying blue card because he's not a typical blue card.
Next up we have Nephrox, Overlord of Grixis.
Sorry everyone, because I'm going to make a comparison. He's the mono black Thraxmundar. Given that my dad's deck is Thraxmundar, the one we did on the channel, I've come to enjoy Thraxmundar as a really cool, flavorful general. Nephrox is also from Grixis. He's a legendary demon. He has Exalted, which the Bant player in me is kind of freaking out at a black creature with Exalted, but he gives you that sacrifice trigger. And he's a flyer. If you're looking for something different that's still powerful and especially flavorful, I think Nephrox would be a score as far as that's concerned.
For the red legendary creature in this set, you have Krenko Mob Boss. That's going to give a shout out to the Ib Nation right here.
Do you guys have an anthem yet?
Krenko is, well, he's a goblin. Being able to produce 1/1 red goblins, there's bound to be some sort of infinite goblin token producing combo with Krenko. If you want to build a goblin themed EDH, maybe he's the one for mono red.
And he's holding like a dripping dagger, like this dude means business.
Yeah, he's killing people. He's in the cities. Looks like Ravnica actually in the background.
Goblin generals are always gonna be cool, and Krenko is cool. And for the people who like goblins, for the people who like mono red, he's good. Last, but in my opinion the best, is Yeva Nature's Herald. I kind of freaked out a bit when I saw her because I love green. And if you look at her basic stats, she's a 4/4 for 4, expected in green. But she also has Flash, so that's really awesome. She can hold her own in combat. But then, her ability, you may cast green creature cards as though they had Flash, puts her over the top. She takes care of so many problems that mono green decks have. She takes care of the problem that, oh, I just played my huge amount of creatures and it's so obvious that I have lethal on the board and I'm going to kill you next turn. Go Mystical Tutor for that Wrath of God so that I have to set up again. You can cast things that are way more powerful at instant speed. Things like Loaming Shaman. You can keep people from abusing their graveyards. She is awesome. The only problem that I have with her is that they have to be green, and so I can't flash my Eldrazi into play. I'm going to have to stick with Winding Canyons.
Oh, you poor thing, not being able to flash your huge Eldrazi into play, but you'll be flashing in prime times and everything else. It's such an awesome card. It's epic. In every way.
She has so much potential. And I will cheerfully argue, anyone who wants to argue this, Yeva is the best general in M13. She blows everyone else out of the water. If I were going to build another mono green deck, it would either be Kamal or Yeva.
Alright, that's our take on M13. Let us know what you think about the set and some of the new generals in the comments section. Tune in next time as we look at more viewer-submitted Commander decks. I'm Karsten.
And I'm Brianne.
And thanks for watching.